A car performance sounds simple until you zoom in and realize it's a whole ecosystem of numbers, physics, engineering choices, and vibes. When people say a car is fast or powerful, they're usually compressing a dozen parameters into one word. To really understand performance and engine power, you have to unpack those parameters one by one and see how they interact in the real world, not just on spec sheets. Engine power usually starts with horsepower. Horsepower is a measure of how much work an engine can do over time. More horsepower means the engine can keep accelerating the car at higher speeds. This is why cars like the Bugatti Chiron Super Sport with about 1,600 horsepower don't just launch hard, but continue pulling brutally even past 300 kilometers per hour. Horsepower matters most at the top end, where air resistance becomes the main enemy and only raw power can keep pushing the car forward. Torque is the other half of the power story, and it's often misunderstood. Torque is a twisting force, measured in Newton meters or pound-feet, and it describes how hard the engine can rotate the drivetrain. High torque is what gives that shove in the back feeling when you floor it. Electric cars like the Tesla Model S Plaid make over 1,400 Newton meters of torque instantly, which is why they demolish supercars off the line despite being heavy. In combustion cars, peak torque usually arrives at a specific engine speed, while electric motors deliver it almost immediately. Engine speed, measured in revolutions per minute, RPM, defines where power and torque live. High revving engines, like the naturally aspirated V12 in the Ferrari 812, super fast that spins past 8,500 revolutions per minute, make their power by revving hard. Low revving engines, like the massive V8 in a Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 170, rely more on displacement and boost to generate insane torque at lower RPM. Neither approach is better, they just deliver performance differently. Displacement refers to the total volume of all engine cylinders. Bigger displacement generally allows more air and fuel into the engine, which can mean more power. American muscle cars lean heavily on this idea. The 6-point, 2-liter supercharged V8 in the Demon 170 uses sheer size plus boost to produce over 1,000 horsepower on E85 fuel. On the flip side, cars like the Mercedes-AMG 1 extract huge power from a relatively small 1.6-liter V6 by using extreme turbocharging and hybrid tech borrowed straight from Formula 1. Forced induction is a massive performance multiplier. Turbochargers and superchargers compress incoming air, letting the engine burn more fuel and make more power. Turbos use exhaust gases, which improves efficiency but can introduce lag. Superchargers are mechanically driven, offering instant response at the cost of efficiency. Koenigsegg plays galaxy brain chess here, using advanced turbo systems and clever valve timing to minimize lag while still making over 1,500 horsepower in cars like the Jesko. Acceleration figures translate all that engineering into something you feel. 0 to 60 miles per hour or 0 to 100 kilometers per hour times measure how quickly a car can launch from a standstill. This parameter depends on power, torque, drivetrain, tires, and traction control. The Tesla Model S Plaid hits 60 miles per hour in under 2 seconds because its all-wheel drive system and instant torque maximize grip. Meanwhile, a rear-wheel drive supercar with more horsepower can be slower off the line if traction is limited. Top speed is another classic metric, but it's more about aerodynamics and gearing than brute force alone. Drag increases exponentially with speed, so pushing past 400 kilometers per hour requires absurd power and slippery design. The Bugatti Chiron Super Sport and Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute focus heavily on aerodynamic efficiency to achieve their extreme top speeds, not just engine output. Power-to-weight ratio quietly decides how alive a car feels. It compares horsepower to vehicle mass. A lighter car with less power can outperform a heavier, more powerful one. This is why the McLaren 765 LT feels so savage with only 755 horsepower. Carbon fiber construction and obsessive weight reduction sharpen every input and make acceleration, braking, and cornering more intense. Drivetrain layout also shapes performance. Front-wheel drive prioritizes efficiency and packaging. Rear-wheel drive emphasizes balance and driver engagement. And all-wheel drive maximizes traction. Hypercars almost universally use all-wheel drive now because it allows them to deploy insane power without turning tires into smoke. Finally, real performance isn't just straight-line speed. Braking performance, measured by stopping distance and brake fade resistance, matters just as much. Carbon ceramic brakes on cars like the Porsche 911 Turbo S or Lamborghini Aventador allow repeated high-speed stops without losing effectiveness. Cornering performance, influenced by suspension, geometry, tire compound, and downforce, determines how fast a car can actually be on a road or track. In the end, car performance is a balancing act. Horsepower, torque, RPM, displacement, induction, weight, aerodynamics, and drivetrain all talk to each other. The most powerful cars in the world aren't impressive because of one crazy number, but because engineers manage to make all these parameters cooperate instead of fight. That's the real flex.